contested that time.
With a guy like Junior Burrough, you've got to put a body on him. Junior Burrough doing much work early. See, nobody actually in somewhat of a matchup zone there. Forrest lost track of Junior. Virginia has won 9 of their last 10. Wake Forest, who we'll see in game 2, has won 7 straight.
Junior Burrough has hit his first.
What's up, people? Welcome back to the Boom Boom Room Show. This is your host, Ron Slay. VFL, SEC legend, all that, and all that wrapped in one. But today, man, I'm fortunate to be able to bring on a guy. You already see him on the screen, man. I'm telling you, ACC legend, pro, a mentor, leader, all that and above, Oak Hill alum, you know what I mean? So the ties are thick, man. The ties are thick. But JB, Junior Burrough, man, the accolades go on and on. And what I want to say first, man, for all the viewers that's listening, if you're wondering if you got to see me play, especially after my junior year at Tennessee, and was wondering where I got the face up from, all that, you know what I mean? Especially going into my pro game, hey, man, Junior Burrough, I always give it up to him and CA, man.
Oh, yeah.
Put me through torture. I say torture. It was one summer, man. I was so frustrated, dude. I'm guarding them, they give me buckets. And every time I'm facing them, I'm like, man, I'm starting to face up too. Every time I'm coming up, they ripping it. Boom, boom. I'm like, hey, man, dude, this ain't right, man. But at the end of the summer, man, they gave me the nuances to the game, man, and that developed a whole different game. They helped my career totally, because it wasn't about being the most athletic or anything like that. It became more mental, you know what I mean, and knowing angles and where to have the ball. Just a little speck of move to the inch is a total difference, you know what I mean? So I salute you for that, JB, man. You did what
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Yes, sir, man. It's always a pleasure to be in your presence, man, and all that good stuff. Like, that's the best time of my life. I always call Nashville my second home. Being from Charlotte, living up here in Hampton, Virginia now, man, I never would have thought that being around Nashville's finest yourself and Corey Allen and Dante Jones, Mingo and all those guys, man, that crew down there so thick. Ron Mercer, like, y'all got like a heritage that don't nobody really get an opportunity to talk about, but they'll just give it to the state.
Right.
They'll give it to your state, you know what I'm saying? And I learned, I'll say the hard way. I learned the hard way when my wife went to medical school down there, and I came down there as, man, y'all ain't paying no attention to what your resume is, man. This is strap your shoes on and come on out here and play, or you're going to be dunked on, embarrassed, and somebody going to call you out your name.
Guaranteed.
That's the best part about it. Absolutely. Man, you ain't nothing. All of this, I loved it all, man, just being around you and stuff. But listen, who taught you how to dribble? Because you ain't learned that from us.
No.
You used to put the ball on the ground. Like, you took what we was doing and started dribbling the ball and stuff.
Yeah.
And that little point, me and CA still ain't took but 4 dribbles.
I ain't no doubt.
20-year careers.
That was all, man, have to go. And we'll speak on this in a minute, man. Going to Oak Hill in that summer, man. Coach Smith and them, I was up at summer school, 8-hour days, man, on Monday through Saturday, trying to get my grades right to get ready to go into school. And, man, it was just me. Travis Watson, another Wahoo, man, came through and stayed with me for a couple of weeks. But, man, it was basically, man, just me honing my skills. And, man, when I say I saw a difference, I never knew what real competitive basketball looked like, you know what I mean, as far as playing in a 5-on-5 setting, man, until I got to Oak Hill, man. That was a different from high school. But before we even get into that, hold up. You coming from Charlotte, man, JB.
Yes.
Straight from Charlotte, man. Talk about your experiences growing up in Charlotte, who some of your influences were with you coming in, and when you fell in love with the game of basketball.
It's so funny, man. My first time playing basketball, real organized stuff. You know, we all played on the streets and stuff, but because I've had this conversation with you, just about you. Like, my friends, we played all the sports.
Right.
Like, we played football when football season went on. We played baseball when baseball. We played basketball when basketball. So I was one of the shorter people in my 5th grade class. So you just kind of with the regular crew.
Right.
And we had a guy who was he was getting his teacher's permit. He was getting his teacher's license, and he had to come down to our rec center, West Charlotte Rec Center. And he was a cross-country scholarship guy and a #1 tennis player guy, Gary Robinson, at John C. Smith University, which right down the street.
Yeah.
Our first team put together at West Charlotte, we were Jeff McGinnis. We from the same neighborhood, Touche.
Yeah.
My man Andrew Jordan, he played 15 years of pro football.
Okay.
Sean Singletary, who played 15 years of pro football, and myself. We from the same neighborhood. We walked to West Charlotte, and he put us on a team together. And we just listening to him, cross country running, getting ourselves together. The love came in because I started to grow a little bit in this time. And now he put us on the court, and we were doing stuff to teams that nobody was doing, 86-6, 94-4. He walking around with our birth certificates in his book bag because everybody's worried about now this tall kid. And we're not even the best players, Slay.
Right.
We're not even the best two players. My friend Jared Shipman was the best player on the team, but I'm just the tallest.
Right.
And Touche is the second tallest, right? So we just tall, lanky from the same area because his dad was, I don't know if you know, his dad was like the guy, and my brother was the guy.
Okay.
You know, and they grew up together and got in trouble together.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You got to put that out there, right?
Yeah.
And so that was that, and that's why me and him has always been above tight. Like we grew up in the same neighborhood, right around the corner from West Charlotte. So that's where the love came from.
Right.
Once you start seeing yourself win and being around it, and then getting your publicity for it before AAU really popped off. That's how Charlotte was. Like everything started with Bobby Jones starting camps, Dale Curry starting camps, Muggsy Bogues, Larry Johnson. Like that's when the Charlotte got off my 8th and 10th grade year when the Hornets came to the city. Kenny Gaddison, they having camps, and they taking a look at this 6'4" kid who is a 7th, 8th grader trying to make his way through this whole thing. And they start having little camps and stuff, and I was able to go to those. And so was everybody else, because we were sponsored by the superstar Billy Graham, if you know a wrestling guy. He used to sponsor our team. Yeah, man. You know, he come in with the 36-inch pythons. Man, we used to walk around. He had a snake around his neck. This white man was crazy, right? But he loved this, man. He loved this. He got his shoes, everything. James Worthy was around because, you know, like Sleepy Floyd and all those guys from our area, man.
Right.
And even though it's Gastonia, but it's kind of like y'all, Murfreesboro to Nashville. Man, James used to come down and really give us love because he was at North Carolina.
Yeah.
At the time.
That's my gas house.
Yeah, the gas house. Like that's all. That's even though it seems like it's together now because of what's going on in Charlotte and the growth. But at the time, man, that was a big deal to have a guy from North Carolina coming to see you and pointing you out and saying you're not doing enough. If you want to be me, you need to step your game up. You need to do this and this. And I'm looking at him like, I don't think I could ever be you, my friend. Like, what are you talking about? James Worthy, you go to Carolina, you play for Dean Smith.
Exactly.
And slowly those things started to happen for me, man. But yeah, that's where it all came from.
All right, so West Charlotte High School, man, public school, right?
Yes, sir, public school.
And what's funny is, man, I done crossed paths with a couple guys from there, man. I don't know why I never knew you went to West Charlotte. You know what I mean? I definitely knew about Oak Hill, but didn't know West Charlotte. But a good friend of mine was Jason Parker, man.
I knew you was gonna bring his name up.
JP, man.
Yes, sir.
That was my guy, man. Huge head, a man child.
The softest touch you could have
for a guy with those hands. Man.
Oh, man. Yes.
That was amazing, man.
And you got another guy that comes in your window, and I don't know why we never talked about Big Tony Kitchens.
Big T,
he loved you too.
Yes,
Big T love you too.
That's my guy, man.
No doubt, because I'm living in Nashville and we all overseas. And so he bringing up Jay Parker because him and Jay was always tight because they went to South Carolina together for a little bit before everybody, you know, Jay done transferred 17 times. Everybody having their issues, but it's funny, man, because your name always come up. I said, man, I see him every day at 5 o'clock up at Vanderbilt. You know, when we got back to playing, they was like, no, for real. I said, yeah. He said, man, give him my number. Nah, I ain't giving nobody your number. You ain't doing enough to be talking to him. You can come down here and stay here, T-Kitch.
Yeah.
You can come down here and stay down here. We can get right because we doing it for real down here. So, yeah.
Man, Big Kitch, man, good guy, man.
Oh, no doubt.
How y'all got the soft touches like it? Because Big Kitch, he developed a soft touch like that.
Man, he shot the tray ball. I know you remember Norm Nolan. Like, all of us was getting it in over there. Yeah, so he's a Virginia guy. The funny part about it, Travis is the only one that ain't got no touch. Right?
Exactly.
He the only one ain't got no touch, but he know he don't have none. That's why he got 17 rebounds.
There you go.
That's why
Hold up, JB. Big, hey, man. Norman Nolan, man. Hey, y'all.
Yes.
First of all, you're in the Boom Boom Room with Ross Slade, special guest Junior Burrough. Man, this is just an organic conversation, man. We ain't seen each other in forever, so I ain't telling how long this might take and where it might go. But, hey, man, this is authentic is what I'm telling y'all. Norman Nolan, man, when I got overseas, man, when you talking about strong, man, all y'all, like you just, all y'all, I don't know if y'all practice on that, putting a person on the hill, and people, man, Big Nolan, man. Y'all, he put me through the ring, man. I was young coming over there too, man.
Listen, everybody got their moment. And it's funny because when I moved to Nashville and you start telling people who's down here. Right. So, because it's not just on the court. Like you might score 25, 30 points on somebody. You might have an 18-18 game. Like you were different than us. Like we had to go over there and play a different game because like you passed the ball. Like you got assists and everything, Slade. Like that's not, man, we ain't trying to do that. We need 23 points and 15 rebounds.
Got to have.
And a couple of blocks so we can keep getting a check.
There you go.
Like, so that's the difference between the evolution of the game. But when I start telling them who was down here, and all of them would say the same thing, man, listen, this Slade guy is a tough matchup for us over here because I know you had to learn that first step thing don't matter in Europe. You got to put the ball on the ground. It don't matter. You got to put that ball on the ground. Well, you was always better at putting the ball on the ground. That wasn't no big deal to you.
Right.
But to the rest of us, that quick first step thing is a turnover. You rip through and turnover. No, man, all of that stuff. So that's the part about all of us being kind of and familiar, but it's off the court because after the game was over with, you let it all go. It's all basketball. We're going to go out, sit out and eat somewhere because it's brother love. It's going to sit somewhere. We're going to sit down and talk, have a good time because we all from the same stuff, man. We just trying to compete and win games. It ain't personal.
That's fair.
It ain't none of that stuff that's personal. So that's the difference between, and everybody, that's how I judge a man's character. Like it ain't your basketball stuff. It's who actually really messes with you.
Right.
Like I ain't never heard nobody say they don't fuck with you. I ain't never heard nobody say that.
Right.
Like I'm still waiting on the guy who says they don't mess with Slade.
Right.
So that means you did it the right way overseas. You mean you did it the right way dealing with people. And of course you're gonna have your moments where it's gonna be tense in the court. Otherwise you're not trying to win. It's gotta be that way. It's gotta be that way.
So talk about some of your time in West Charlotte, man, before taking that jump to Oak Hill and then why you left and went to Oak Hill.
Man, listen, my West Charlotte experience, we only lost 4 games in my 2 years there. And it was the number one. We were number one in the state. We kept winning all the time. But what started happening for me and my household is that the recruiting changed everything. And the basketball opportunities for me started to open up to where you're not just going to Carolina, NC State, or Wake Forest or something like that, right? You got a chance to go anywhere you want to go in the country based on a couple of AAU tournaments at the time that you could go to. You could go to Myrtle Beach, you could go to Nationals in St. Louis, or you can go to this one tournament in New York. For us driving in a van, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Right? Ain't nobody on no planes yet. You know what I'm saying? You know, what made it so fun, we came down y'all way. We came to Jonesboro, Arkansas. We had to drive down there, and it changed everything because that's where the national recruiting stuff started to happen. They started talking about you as the number one player in the state of North Carolina. You start talking about the number one player, and that all came from my experience in West Charlotte because we had 8 Division I players that eventually ended up coming out of that school.
Right.
You know, myself, Steve Rivers, which is Doc Rivers' nephew, he's the first one. He went to Tennessee. So he's the first guy. He played with Corey. He's the first guy we saw as a 6'6" point guard leave our area as a major Division I basketball player. We got a bunch of people that went to John C. Smith, North Carolina Central, but you start seeing guys that do it, you know, play a little bit of AAU, but their high school team was good, and then he was the reason why. It's Steve Rivers. And I saw it with my own eyes, and he started getting recruited by, you know, the Kentuckys, the NC States, et cetera, because everybody wanted to go with Jim Valvano, right?
Right.
And at that time, you know, if Dean Smith came, it's different. But at that time, NC State was everywhere. They was trying to get all of us. And but for him to leave and go to Tennessee, and that you get to see a guy leave your area and do something different than everybody, see him play on TV. That's when you can really see it for yourself.
Right.
Now, I know this guy.
Right.
You know, he's a freshman. He's playing with these guys. Oh, man, I know I can do that too. And he was a couple of years ahead of me, and that's kind of where it started. Oak Hill came from my AAU coach who had Carlos Cofield, who had Corey Baker, Larry Crowder, which all three of them left their regular high schools in our area to go to Oak Hill. Right. And he brought it up. And I went up there for a workout. And they had, and you know this guy, his name is Anthony Cade. I wish everybody on this your thing. Okay. I'm one of the few people that got to guard him and play against him. In a workout, Slade.
Really?
They are number one in the country. I come up there on the weekend. They got 15 games left in the season, and they're practicing. And my AAU coach said, man, he'll jump into the practice. I'm like, yeah, I'm into this. Like, y'all ain't saying nothing to me. Let's get it.
Yeah.
After the practice is over with, I was like, hey, coach, I don't know about the rest of this stuff, but I think this is where I need to be. Because the first couple of plays, I caught the ball, ripped through, and dunked on it.
Yeah.
Like, and everybody on and on. And then, of course, you know what happened after that. He started to show up.
Yeah.
He started to put the ball on the ground. I was like, yo, this is a different level.
Right.
Every day. Me and Ben Davis going at it.
Yeah,
that whole crew. So he was already up there. And they was like, man, you can come up here and be a part of something different.
Right.
And I thought it was an opportunity for me to change my whole life thing. Like Coach Smith didn't just change my schools. He changed my whole thought process about what basketball had an opportunity to do for me. And that's why I always give him that love. And it's rare because you're talking about a bunch of brothers, talking about a white guy that ain't got no dog in the race.
Exactly.
And you talk to him right now, he still talks about you like it was yesterday.
Yeah. So
right, when you bring his name up, he's like, you know, and that's the kind of, you know, the love for him and Miss Smith and all of them. They just took me in, and it made me turn my entire thought process. Man, this basketball thing can lead me somewhere different.
Right.
And he said it after my first interview. He said it after that first day of playing pickup. You know, that 2-hour drive to Charlotte, I was like, man, I think this is where I'm going. It's going to be a big deal for me to leave. But once I get up here, I'll forget all about all that stuff. And I did your same rope, Slay. I was up there for the whole summer. I needed a math class. I was up there for the whole summer. So, and it was me and Ben Davis for a little while. It was me and Wilford Cacaldi for a little while. But at the end of the day, it was me. And as a country boy, you know how I was fishing. I was going out to the streams and everything. I mean, I was horseback riding. I fell in love up there.
Hey, that's how I know you was up there, boy. Because, hey, I was calling home. It was like, man, you cool up there? I'm like, man, I'm going to be honest, man. I'm straight. I'm in the equestrian club.
I'm straight.
I'm cleaning the barn. Like, this cool. You know what I mean?
This is great. Nobody's bothering me. And every day you got a chance to get better without it hurting, without it being some type of deal. Like everything is different now with cones and all the stuff they do now with this basketball. You got to see, okay, I dribble better. No, the way you know you're getting better is because you're working at it every day and you're doing something you couldn't do 2 days ago, a week ago. Exactly. Yeah, that's how it all happened. Your free throw percentage got better. Your three-point line, your everything got better. Right, your athleticism and all that stuff, and it happened up there in that little weight room on that little court with Coach Chalk. I don't know if Coach Chalk was there with you.
No, Chalk wasn't there with me.
You know, see, Coach Smith used to practice with us when I first got there. Oh yeah, he used to get in, run in, and do shooting drills and all kind of stuff. So you missed out on the 34-year-old version who had on some high top tennis shoes. Like, I want to know how many Oak Hill alums saw him in high top tennis shoes, tying them up over there on the sideline instead of his golf clubs. The regular night.
When I got up there, he was just trying to show that swing.
So that's the difference between myself and most. And then of course he took me to Shatley Springs, twice a week because I was by myself. So the whole family going, me, Stephanie, Sean, him. And we go down there. I was like, hold up, man. They doing this. I can all you can eat twice a week. I just got to keep my mouth shut until I get down there.
That's it.
That is now, it. To the organic part of it, I haven't eaten a peanut butter and jelly sandwich since I left Oak Hill. So, you know, if that's my only trauma. I'll give you my only trauma.
You
I ate so much peanut. My own. Man. Like, you know, it's been 1991. Your boy ain't had another peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I still get cold sweats from the fruit cocktail. Brother was eating so much of that fruit cocktail and peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like, I'm done with it. Yeah. I can't even make them without standing in the sweat, dog.
That's crazy. Hey, that's a different experience, man. The funny thing, man, is we had I interviewed Mercer and like yourself, like I'm putting a string of Oak Hill guys, you know what I mean, interviews together, and all of it comes back to one thing, man, being competitive. You know what I mean? The competition day and night. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You go in there, you work out, you do your schoolwork, and then it's back to the gym. You know,
right.
Ain't no playing around, and it's heated. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to be the best up there. So, and then you got Coach Smith, like you said, man, no dog in the race, and gonna give it to you straight. And if he don't give it to you straight, once you walk across the street, Mr. Smith gonna give it to you straight. So it was a whole different dynamic, man. Well, I want to ask you, JB, tell me about the playing with talented guys like that. How did that bring your level up? Like playing with guys like Corey. You and TA played together, right?
Yes, we played together. And
Alexander,
Yes. So because I know you know this, so we number one in the country. But what used to happen in and I know it was Coach Smith and what he was doing back then, because at that time he was still recruiting.
Right.
He still had to go out
right.
and make people believe in Oak Hill.
Right.
He would announce Ron Slade, the number 5 power forward in the country. Mm-hmm. That's your introduction.
Right.
As you come out to the game.
Yeah.
Corey Alexander, number 1 point guard in the country. Corey Alexander from Waynesboro, Virginia. That's how they introduce you. So you got your love and your props from him right there.
Right.
Like so it made you kind of, man, you got to hold yourself accountable. They just called you the number 3 power forward in the country.
Exactly.
Ben Davis, you the number 2 center in the country behind Cherokee Parks. Man, you can't come out here and not be good.
Right.
You can't come out here and have a bad practice where all these coaches are watching you every afternoon and practice and all this other wild stuff. Like, man, you gotta be on point.
Right.
You gotta be ready to go. And I know that changed it. We used to get in fights in the locker room about some fouls not being called or something you getting away with.
Yeah.
And then you squash it, of course, because we had good leadership.
Right.
But, man, them first couple of weeks, man, you don't know who's going to be the starter. You don't know who's going to be part of it.
It's tense.
Man, goodness gracious, man. You better figure out. And Coach Smith won't come in there. Like, he did it on purpose, man. Like, Coach Finkley and Coach Chalkman, man. They made this thing, they made it competitive on purpose. I know for a fact he heard us yelling and cussing at each other. Right. And call each other names and all this other wild stuff. And I'll see you over there in the dorm room.
Right.
Nah, get me now. What you waiting on? Like, right.
Right.
Right. Because we all from somewhere different. I got to show them how hard Charlotte really is.
Yep.
I know you from New York and all these other places. I know you from D.C.
Right.
Nah, none of that. We're going to figure this thing out tonight. And we used to love it, man. And by the middle of the year, now we all singing songs. We all together. We all, it's all love.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, every loss or any type of scenario that you don't look your best, everybody's giving you their best for that particular night. And the only way you can do that is y'all come together. And you can't ask for a better preparation for college basketball.
Yes. You hit that right on the head, man. Segue right into that, man. Talk about the recruiting process. Like, plenty of opportunities to go to other schools, man.
Yes.
What made you choose Virginia?
It's funny, man, because it goes back to Coach Smith one time. So we sit down and we do our top 10 schools. He got us, a bunch of us in the room together who are all being recruited at the same level, which makes it a lot easier for you to pick a school, right?
Right.
Because there is nobody above or beyond. So it was Carolina, it's Kentucky, it's Syracuse, it's NC State, it's not even Virginia on the list. It's Wake Forest, and Coach says, why? Why are you picking these schools? I'm from 2138 Syracuse Drive out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Derek Coleman is the guy.
Right.
For us young power forwards.
Right.
Right. And James Worthy is the guy. Right. So I'm from that area. You get a chance to see your mentors, Larry Johnson. UNLV's on probation, so you can't go out there. This Coach Smith talking to you, real talk.
Yeah.
Jim Boeheim called me Thomas, which is my real name. So that means he don't know you as Junior. So you're gonna go up there and it not be right.
Right.
Rick Pitino, they still under probation from the Chris Mills incidents. So they got another year. So I'm supposed to play with Jamal Mashburn and that crew on my visit. Myself, Jimmy King, and Donald Williams are all on the same visit. And we all basically love Kentucky, but they get another year of probation, so they out.
Right.
NC State fires Jim Valvano, who's the great Jim Valvano. They fire him. And as you know, Carolina just had the #1 recruiting class in the country 3 years in a row.
Right.
So everybody's going to McDonald's. Everybody's a parade All-American. Ain't no minutes for you down there with Cliff Rozier and all that other stuff. So let me pick. I'm going to Kentucky. So let me pick Virginia so I don't have to stay up at Oak Hill while everybody else go on their visits.
Right.
So I'm going to visit Virginia because it's the same colors as Syracuse.
Yeah.
And I went down there, man, and it changed my whole life because now I'm looking at it totally different. This is just a weekend, so I ain't got to pay attention to nothing.
Right.
Man, I had the most fun on my visit. I met the most people that look like me on my visit. Yeah. And, of course, everybody plays at home. My home state, we go down to Wake Forest. We go to – everything is a home game for me at home in Charlottesville, but everything's a home game for me on the road.
Right.
My dad's whole family's from Clemson, South Carolina.
Yeah.
You know, my uncles and them live in Atlanta. Like, there isn't one spot in the ACC that wasn't family for me. So why wouldn't I take an opportunity? And Kenny Turner was a senior, so there's a chance for me to start as a freshman.
Right.
All coming from Coach Smith in a conversation with him. Look, you want to go somewhere where you get a chance to play right away.
Exactly.
And I'm not talking about 10, 15 minutes. I'm talking about all the minutes.
A real impact.
Impact, whether you good or not. And this coach right here believes in you. And he says he's going to do this. And I'm telling you right now, you need to take a chance on this 34-year-old Jeff Jones because he got to make it work for you. Yeah. Because he's new, and you got to get an opportunity to go up there. Corey was a secondary part of it because he went there too. Right. But, man, at the time, it's just about, man, where are you going to fit in and where you going to like it? Man, I just fell in love with the whole area and what everything was about. Yeah. And basically, I've been living in that area or somewhere close to that area ever since, just based off of how it made me feel. So, which is the best way to play basketball when there's no mental struggle to it, man.
Exactly. The more comfortable you are, the better production you're going to have.
Absolutely. Like, and all came from just sitting in the room with a guy who's seen a bunch of other kids come through there and go to school, as you know, at Oak Hill, and not have that same experience.
Exactly.
You know, not have that love for it and everything else and go somewhere and to be a mistake. Yep. Coach Smith read it like a book. And I always give him that props for it because if you don't read it like that, you can go somewhere wrong, Slade, and struggle. Try to go pro, try to do all this other silly stuff, transfer 5 times. No. It's Ralph Sampson, it's me and Malcolm Brogdon. Those are the most minutes played of any University of Virginia player. What else can you ask for? Who cares what you did in your minutes? Who cares about your numbers?
You got the opportunity.
Man, 34 minutes a game. Come on, dog. It's only 40 in there. That's the last time we looked. Come on. You can say I'm sorry, but I got 34 minutes of sorriness, lack of this, whatever, and every night. And that's why I love Coach Jones to this day, man. He gave me a chance to be.
Now, coming into Virginia, what was it like as far as, let's see, as far as JB, as far as the obstacles that you had to come into, because you had a very, very successful freshman year,
right?
Very, very, and you're not playing against just a guy like you said playing 15 minutes. You playing against some dogs night in, night out. You know what I mean? You got Rodney Rogers to go up against, them cats in Wake Forest. You got the Carolinas. I ain't even got to speak about the Carolinas. You know what I mean? Dukes,
right? And
stuff like that. Like you had to battle, man. So what was your mentality? Or what were some of the obstacles that you went into before getting ready to go into the ACC schedule, and you had to get your mind right going into it?
So I got to, once again, it all starts up there at Mount Wilson because you get a chance to play in front of 15 and 20,000 people.
Right.
And so the crowd isn't an issue for you no more because you've already done this.
Yep.
You've played against a bunch of players because Coach Smith don't run for nobody.
Exactly.
So you get a chance to see everybody who's of your age and your caliber. So we done played everybody. I scrimmaged against your boy Dave Vaughn and them down in Tri-Cities. I got a chance to see everybody in my years and stuff like that. My AAU team had Rodney Rogers on it. You know, Trelawney Owens and all those guys from Wake Forest. So I got a chance to see all those guys.
Right.
The funny thing about you saying that is that when you get a chance to go to Duke and you know the sub ain't for you and they on a back-to-back defending national champions,
right?
And you the starting power forward, and they retiring Kristen Lakeman's jersey. Your freshman year trying to play them, they go Walt Williams on the other end. They retire his jersey. And then you go down to Carolina, and all of these guys, and the blue at Carolina it starts to colorblind you, man. You can barely see in it. You know what I'm saying? Until they turn them. It's different. Everything is different because the talent is different. Like you can put this same talent at A&T, and it's gonna make A&T a better game, right? That's all it is. Man, they were so talented, but you see yourself, your confidence has gotten somewhere. Like I was always about the confidence at going down to Georgia Tech and going against Malcolm Mackey and all those guys and Chris and James Forrest and that, man, that we embraced it.
Right.
Because Ron Slayer is going to have a good play because he can play.
Right.
They're going to make good plays on you, man. Like, that's kind of the mentality. You're going to make some, he going to make some. And now we're trying to win the game. We go to Clemson with Sharon Wright and those guys, Devin Gray and Wayne Buckingham, speaking of strong, right? you know, like the scouting report is you by yourself. Like, that's the scouting report. Nah, coach, I'm gonna need a little help with him. You know, I could have sworn he lifted the front end of a car in right before he got out there.
Exactly.
You know, those, man, like the love of it all and the competition of it all. I just embraced it, and I think it comes from being up there, man. Like you embrace the whole thing about the other kids being talented, and now I'm gonna go out there and play against Grant Hill and those guys, and I'm gonna go out there and play against Cliff Rozier and those crews and all those guys. And at the end of the night, we're gonna shake hands and give out a hug and go into the locker room and hopefully we win the game.
Exactly.
And I took that through. Yeah, that's it. That's the way I've always thought about basketball.
Right.
It's a chance for me to show. That's why I still lace up now at 47 years old, man. It ain't nothing but showing. Thank you. It's all about showing that you can still go out there and compete. Exactly. And whether it look good, whether it don't look good, it's still a chance for you to compete.
Yep.
And it just so happens now to be healthy for you. Now it's more healthy for us now because we out there competing, as opposed to what it was before, trying to win games for your school.
Yep.
And keep your reputation and stuff like that.
Nothing like that, man. Nothing like that. So give me some your most memorable moments of your college experience. What was some of your before we get to senior year and talking about the draft and things of that nature? Give me some of the memorable moments for you.
I mean, just the thing about it is just to see those guys that you've been watching on TV, and now they're lined up against you. Like Tom Gugliotta, man. Like I don't know if people give him enough love. Like goodness gracious, like Tom Gugliotta at NC State. Like just to go on the road and play at the places where you saw on TV. Like to go down to Duke.
Right.
And they'll be the #1 team in the country. And Christian Laettner, when y'all go to shake hands, says, "What's up, Junior? How you doing?" Like, oh, he knows who you are? Like Grant, I mean, I've been playing against Grant my whole life, but like to Christian Laettner and Bobby Hurley and them to actually know your name. Right. To Eric Montross and those guys to actually know, George Lynch, like to know your name. Right. You'd be like, damn, hold up. Yeah. they don't watch the video. They done seen you play. Yeah. To go down to Alabama and play against Robert Ory. Right. To go down there in Hollywood and the Trail Sprewell. Like we had like just those parts, those memories of going to those gyms and going out there and competing. Right. You know, that I think that's the biggest memory of it all. And to be successful in those places. Yeah. Georgetown, they had Dikembe Mutombo and Alonzo Mourning in the Big East ACC Challenge. Like that's my second game of my career. Yeah. You know, like, hold up, man. We just played William & Mary yesterday. I mean, Thursday, Saturday, we got Zoe and Dikembe and I got to guard one of them. Like, hold up, coach. Like, which one of them is for me? He's like, well, I don't know. No. We need to know. I need to know.
I need to prepare for this.
Yeah, coach. Like, that Alonzo thing looks a little different, coach. Like, that don't look like my matchup at all. I thought he played center. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. All of that. Adam Keefe and those guys that we played Don McClain them at UCLA and Tracy Murray and them. Right. Oh, yeah, we go on the road for these games. I think, man, it was just all of that combined, all these names. Yeah. We get your crew. We get your crew in the NIT. We get Corey and Allen Houston and those guys, man, like, come on, man. Yeah. Come on. You can't ask for a better freshman year to get you acclimated to it all and let somebody tell you that it was somebody else that had to do more or be around more talent. Because I remember, I'm trying to think of, and they did this, and I got to look for it, but they did this for me. My freshman year, it was somebody on every team we played out of 31 games that got drafted. It's crazy. That's just the talent. Yeah, I mean, we play Alabama every year. Like Alabama, as you know, Jason Caffey and all of them, and McDyess and all of them, man, they come into you or you going to them. Man, you can't even can you jump any higher than them? Right? Can you like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't a night that you got to go to sleep. We was so happy to play Old Dominion, who was a state rival. Yeah. But hell, they had P.D. Sessoms and they had Odell Hodge, who was the leading scorer in the history of the state of Virginia until J.J. Redick broke it. Like, there was never a timeout.
Yeah.
Richmond had guys that got drafted last place. So everybody had somebody. Or 2 or 3 people, man. Night in, night out. That's what you want, though.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you want.
Talk about growing pains. You know what I mean? You know, we all get to see at the end of the journey. You know what I mean? We get to see the end of the journey. You know what I mean? The success, the accolades, you know what I mean? And, you know, end up getting drafted.
Yes.
We get to see that. But for kids that may be listening, that, you know, it's going to be plenty of times, you know, I went through it, ACL, this, that, and the other. You know how many times that's going to discourage you. But what drives you to get back to that point instead of just hanging it up?
I think what happens is, and I never had the major injuries, you know, that wasn't I was blessed not to have those.
Right.
I think the thing is that, and you talked about it, like getting somebody handing you your lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to go back and look at that film and watch him do stuff to you and you doing your best to stop it.
Right.
Like, don't tell me, coach, I'm not trying hard. Look at me. I'm trying hard as shit right here. I'm trying my best right here. Right? And he still scored and made it look easy. Mm-hmm. He still took that space from me. He still took all of that. I was able to always embrace the good with the negative and the negative with the good. Like, all of it has always been that thing. Growing up without a mom who passed away, all of those things, you know, you play with a chip on your shoulder, not because somebody put it there, it's because that's the only way you learn how to play. Mm-hmm. You learn how to play against those guys based on the fact that it's not personal. It's just a matter of you trying to win and you trying to be around it. Yeah. The adversity is making sure that the rest of your team turning out to be a better leader, learning how to talk to your teammates, learning how to be a better teammate, setting better screens, mm-hmm. being involved in the whole part of the game, and being able to take criticism without beatboxing every time somebody says something negative to you. You know, all that stuff. Yeah. You know, trying to deal with the college life alone and just trying to understand it all without anybody really guiding you, because there is no blueprint to what me and you went through.
No, not at all.
I know it's somebody who they say did it. I know it was somebody who they thought was close to you. No, ain't no blueprint for your own page. Right. Like, come on, man. So, you know, you and I have so many similarities and so many differences that it's going to happen because we had 2 different experiences. That's what it is. The stream is never the same. And I learned that early, but I just embraced it. Yeah. Like, I can talk to somebody about this kind of stuff, but, you know, what's the purpose? You talking to them because you vent. You're not talking to them because they can help you.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? They can only hear it and listen and then give their side, and then you try to take your best. You try to take the advice and stuff from the people that you really, really believe in. You still calling Coach Smith.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Still talking to the big fella. Yeah. You know, and him calling you. Like, he had my personal number and telling me, I watched you play yesterday. Yeah. You got your ass kicked. Yeah. which was a big deal for him to say ass at the time, as you know. Right. You know, you got your ass kicked. What you gonna do? Hey, coach, I'm gonna have to practice a little bit better, I think, because learning how to practice was one of the big deals for me, man. Once I played all those minutes, ain't nobody coming for your time. Mm-hmm. You know, you almost forget that you can't wait till the lights get on. You got to turn that thing on and keep it on. Yeah. Because, you know, it's a mode you got to be in. So, yeah, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That's the adversity. Sometimes you're in your own way. Right. And I look down, you start looking in the mirror and be like, damn, ain't nobody in front of, oh, shit, that's just you. Yeah. You in the way. Yeah. You in the way. Get you out the way. Yeah. Get me out the way. Get out of my own. And by the time me and you started to be cool and around, I was already there. Right. Like, this is going, it took a while, humbling. Mm-hmm. You know, it took a humbling. Right. And from just life, losing everything, gaining everything back, trying to get your life together, all that good stuff. We can always talk about the finances. Yeah, they without a doubt. Lost this. Yeah. Gained that. Yep. Figure this out. Oh, yeah, all that.
So with that being said, talk about the being able to have your name called in the draft. Talk about that feeling. You know what I mean? What kind of feeling was that? A proud moment? Yeah, I made it. Or how did you feel about that?
Well, being the first pick of the second round, right? You're almost a first round pick, but you were supposed to be somewhere else. Right. So you hear your name being in the top 10. You had a great senior year. You did everything you were supposed to do individually, and then to hear people take shots at you without knowing you, man. To take shots at, oh, he limited this, he can't do this. Hold up. I'm in the #1 conference in the country. Right. We won the conference.
Right.
We are a Scotty Thurman shot away from being in the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
In that particular game, you have a guy who you say is one of the best power forwards in the game,
right,
in Corliss Williamson, which, by the way, he was.
Mm-hmm.
McNasty was, as you know. And for you to have 29 and 18 in the game, how can you not compare me to him?
Right.
How can you not keep me in the same breath as everybody else? How can you not keep me in the same breath as Rayful Friends in Kansas when you dog them? How can you not keep me in the same breath and you don't know me?
Right.
You know, you're going to take Stackhouse and Rasheed and those guys. That's fantastic. They are all talented. McDyess, everybody is talented. I got it.
Yeah.
But when you watch the game against us, how can you tell the difference between me and them? I got better numbers. We won the game. I got just as good a numbers. Don't tell me he's fast and I'm standing next to him running with him. That means I'm fast too, right?
Oh, man. It only makes sense, so man.
Right? So, and you're starting to get frustrated. Mm-hmm. The part that bothered me the most is because I know my career could have been different. I'm on the phone with Rudy T.
Mm-hmm.
He has a second pick with Houston because they didn't have a first-round pick.
Right.
The Knicks traded away their first-round pick. So there's my two guys who I went and recruited by, and they came after me, and they lost their first-round pick. So, okay, you mad about that.
Right.
You think that the Phoenix Suns are going to take you with their first-round pick or whatever because you dogged everybody they put over there and they put you in these workouts. You dogged them out.
Yep.
And for you to get skipped, now you sitting there with that look in your face like, dang. Rudy T calls me and said, we about to take you. You're going to treat you like a first-round pick. Charles Barkley's here.
Mm-hmm.
Otis Thorpe's here. We got a bunch of veterans that's going to give you an opportunity to learn from. And as I'm talking to him on the phone, my aunt runs downstairs and tells me the Boston Celtics take you with the first pick of the second round. And it's the look in your face like you are so happy, but who is the coach in Boston at the time?
Exactly.
Like who is these guys? Like,
right.
You've never had one conversation with them.
Yeah.
And now you about to go up there. So I got to hang up the phone with them. My agent is sitting in there. And now I'm on the phone with ML Carr talking about going to Boston, which you are still excited, man. It's a blessing.
Right.
But it's a blessing differently than you want to hear your name called, right? You don't want to hear, you want to get an opportunity. And I know for a fact, looking back, that I think it would have been a totally different experience for me. Right. Because I would have been under a really good coach who understood me because I saw him do it before. Yep. And as opposed to that transition that Boston was going through. Mm-hmm. And it cost me. My 2 years up there was really a waste of time, right, mentally and physically for everybody involved. I don't want to just make it seem like it was me. Right. The business side of it took over for those 2 years there, and it took away from my experience. Yep. And quite frankly, it made me want to – that's the part of the adversity that you and I have never talked about not wanting to be around it. Mm-hmm. Like I wish I would have got Rick Pitino, who came in my third year. But they had already traded my rights away to Philadelphia without telling me. I found out on ESPN, just like me and you talking right now. You look on the teleprompter at the bottom, and it says Junior Burrough and Dino Raja are traded to the Phoenix Suns. Philadelphia for compensatory picks. And nobody calls you and talks to you or nothing. They don't say nothing. They don't say nothing. Man. You like, dang, I got my whole life up there. I'm doing camps with Rick Fox. Yeah. We moving up there in that area. Everybody's telling you they're gonna re-sign you. You had a good year. Right. We're gonna try to draft Tim Duncan. We got all of these draft picks and all these ducks in a row. And all of a sudden, they don't get the number one pick. They fire ML. They get rid of all those guys. And of course, right before he goes out, he trades away most of the guys he either didn't like or didn't want a part of, or felt like he could get something for it, some value with Dino Raja and another power forward. They can go to Philly. And that's my business story of it all. And that took a second to get over. That took a second for me to get over how they just treated me. Because that's not how they do in college. That's not how they treat us in college. No. Coach Jones is going to come to you and be like, look, we're recruiting this kid. Right. We need you to help him because we're going to groom him into playing with you. They're going to trick you. They're going to do whatever they got to do to make sure you feel good about it. It's like, but not in the pros. Nah. You're going to find out. You're going to find out. Yeah, they don't like your minutes. They don't think about all this other stuff. Like, that's the business side of it. You averaging 11 points when you start. You averaging 6 rebounds when you start. Okay, well, it's 82 games and you only started 7 of them, 8 of them. So, I mean, we can't judge you off of that. So we'll give you the low end of these deals, and we'll bring somebody else in. And this is all through the agents. And I wish I knew now. I wish I knew then what I know now. I'd love to talk to that 22-year-old version of myself and say, stop taking it so personal.
Please.
You know, stop taking it so personal. But make sure now when you're in the game that you don't let somebody else grab that rebound, because 7 rebounds as opposed to 6 rebounds is $1 million in the league.
Yeah, huge difference.
It's $1 million difference.
Yeah.
It's $1 million difference. Even to this day, you know, they can say what they want to say about winning. They justify by showing you the numbers. Pascal Siakam, numbers in the playoffs last year is the reason why he got $135 million. Exactly. If he was coming out this year for that big deal, we both know he wouldn't be getting it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be nothing.
Right. And I don't mean to just pick on him. I'm just saying he's not playing as well as he played last year. He's just not playing as well as he played last year. He's still effective. He still has a chance. But 135 is a big difference from 80 to $90 million. I know everybody don't see it that way, but it's only team when we feel good about ourselves.
There you go. There you go. You're exactly right. That's funny, man. Like you were saying that and how much it takes to get over. Because mine was very similar, you know what I mean, in a sense. You know, you go into those teams, Chicago, killed in Chicago, killed in Miami. Like, and then in my situation, not hearing the name called, man, I was really at that point, after summer league and stuff, and still wasn't no guarantee. I would have, the one mistake I do know I made is when they offered the partial guarantee, I should have took the partial guarantee. But
with who?
Miami.
Okay. Yes.
Pride was so hurt. I was like, man, partial. Man, what is it? And I'm not knowing. You know what I mean? It was a lot that went into it. I first should have went back down there with John Lucas in Houston. It would have been somebody to walk me through it and let me know and break it down to me. You know what I mean? What a partial is. Like, you get your foot in the door, you show the work you can do. That's gonna come. Some money will come with it. But me hearing partial was like, oh, so they're going to be able to cut me in December, January, October? Nah, man, I ain't taking no partial, you know what I mean? And then after that, I'm just like, man, you know what, man? Let me get away from it all, man. You know what I mean? Get me overseas, man.
Yeah.
You know, I went over to Turkey so fast, you know what I mean? And it wasn't even for a lot of money. I was just like, man, get me out the country.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
People don't understand it. People don't understand that. Like, why would you leave? Because I just want to go somewhere where they want me.
Exactly. And I can just play ball.
I can just play basketball. They're going to pay me for this.
Right.
And nobody going to see it that love me and know me. But I know this is my calling. And I wasn't paying attention to the business side of it. Right. When Philly said, listen, we got 2 people left that we're going to take in. And if you come to camp and do what you're supposed to do, that's one of your spots. We got 3 spots open for 2 people. That's rare, as you know.
Right.
I'm like, man, hold up. I just played 2 years in the league.
Yeah.
I killed y'all when we played y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all had Clarence Witherspoon and them.
Right.
Like, my career high was Philly.
Right.
You know, what do you mean?
Yeah.
No, you gonna wait till everybody see? Hold up, man. Nah. They cut Dino Roger because he didn't pass the physical.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking in my head, Dino's coming back, but they owe Dino $30 million. Dino can tell somebody to kick rocks.
Yeah, it's cool.
Dino don't need to pass nothing. Philly don't owe me nothing.
Right.
Philly owed me $17 in my hotel hotel per diem. That's all they owe me. They owe this man $30 million. He can tell him to kick rocks.
Right.
He ain't got to run that mile and none of that other stuff. Oh man. So I'm like, yeah, man. So Dino got me to Rome. Yeah. Dino's national team coach was a coach at Rome for Roma, Dooley, Yugoslavia, and that's the difference. You know what, man? Get me out of here. Yeah. I'm not even gonna deal with it. I left without talking to my agent. Yeah, they offered me $400. I'm out. I'm not. I left Philly. Come get my stuff. I'm about to make so much money. You can come get this stuff that was at the little apartment. You can have this stuff. So okay, bet. I get this stuff from the hotel. What I need to go to Rome. I flew over there, and it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was going to be, as you know, from Yugoslavian coaches. It's 3-a-day practices, and I was so disoriented about basketball that all of this stuff made me a better person. I went to every practice, Slay, right? Which is rare now because you know how after a while I stopped. But at first, the morning 7 a.m. joint for the weights, the 10 o'clock running sprint stuff, and then coming back at night, I'm your guy who was going to all of that.
Yeah.
And then midway through the season, like, hey, I'm raising my hand. Hey, coach, you got me. I'm over that. You know, we just played yesterday. I didn't step out. Yeah, I don't need no lactic acid out my legs. Nah, none of that. I need to go to sleep, coach. I've been up late now. You're doing too much, coach.
Right.
I don't need 1,000 shots made.
Nah, I'm cool.
Monday morning, right. But at first, like, man, it took so long. And, you know, it's so different now, man. Like, my dad and them are calling me because everybody's worried.
Right.
Like, you out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, and you ain't getting them phone calls and all that. All, you like, I ain't no internet. Yeah, See, I come to the end of that, man.
Your boy was so green at the time. They was paying us with 2 different companies. So I would go to the manager and we count out my $29,000 right there in front of it, and I would go back to my apartment and hold on to it because it's before 9/11. Remember now, you could, you know, I'm stacked up. You can't. Your man Dante Jones. Is his favorite line. Hood rich. You couldn't tell me I wasn't hood rich, holding on to this 29 grand because in the league, you know, they direct deposit, man. I never saw 30 grand, 37 grand, 54 grand counted out.
Right.
Like, come on, dog.
Right.
I'm living the life. Nah, I don't need these calls. I'm back up at Oak Hill. We once a week, 10 minutes. That's all we had up at Oak Hill. Wednesday night at 10 o'clock was my time to be talking on the phone.
Yeah.
So, man, I'm in Rome now. I'm back. I ain't calling y'all. Man, it's a 9-hour difference. I'll catch y'all on that. They paying me. I'm playing. We 3-0, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to keep this job. Everything. It took me a while to get over that sting of the business of the NBA, man. Like, you know, instead of me coming back and trying out or coming back and going somewhere, like if you didn't give me what I wanted, I'm back over here because they love me here.
Yeah, and they do.
They love me here. They love me here. They love me here. That's how it all changed for me. Yeah.
Exactly. So one thing, man, about your journey, that you can leave a gym that you can leave kids with, parents with, whatever it may be, just something that, you know, something that they should live by, because there's a lot of kids nowadays, like we were talking about, working out and playing different sports growing up. And then what we had, which we didn't get to touch on, you touched on a little bit, the playing at Vanderbilt. Like in the summers, iron really sharpening iron. You know what I mean?
For sure.
There's a lot of guys just, I don't want to say dunking, but they're doing their own things, you know what I mean, as far as with individual trainers. And there's only so much you're going to get out of doing individual sessions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went through a whole summer of getting dominated, but after that point, it was a wrap. You know what I mean? I knew what to take to the pro game and knew how to make that jump, you know what I mean, and evolve in my game. So what do you say to kids nowadays is just staying with the trainer, not really playing pickup like they should, and not knowing the game?
Yes. So let me give you your props first. So when you start coming back, if you remember, you were just coming off a little injury, so your knee was bothering you a little bit. So that's really why we were able to take advantage of that first couple of months, because you were just rehabbing up in Tennessee, right? And then, of course, we hear from Corey, we hear from CA is telling us what's going on. You start coming down there with some of the guys that had played with you and played overseas, and they start coming around, and now you got some of your own confidence coming with you, because now you playing up there. Right. You're trying to go back to school and finish. Right. You're getting that run in up there. That's really what it was all about. Yep. And if I could give back to some of the kids about these cones and all these drills and success, everybody I talk to talk about the failures that lead you to change something about your game. Right. Like that's what really works. I have an 8th grade son, and I talk to him about, you got to try that move full speed against other people so you can know if it work or not.
Exactly.
Man, that cone you pass, it ain't chasing you down. Man, like, I get so caught up in trying to give him the old school and new school stuff. And I love for him just to go play against older guys, because that's how I learned how to play against older people. My brother, that, like I told you, who got in all that trouble with Touche's dad. You know, he's 60 years old, man. He was playing with a bunch of older guys. I just happened to go to the court with him, and I was so tall, they didn't know how old I was. I get on the court because a guy had to leave. Right. And now you just the young dude running around, and you getting props off your brother's love, and they putting you on the same team or not on the same team with him. And now you getting a chance to show them, hey, listen, you ain't gonna mess up.
Yeah.
You at least gonna come out here and play your role and block some shots and run around. That's how you get better.
Right.
So now you become dominant against them, or at least as good as them. You don't know they 29, they 31.
Right.
Imagine when you go against your 16-year-old counterparts now. You've been playing against grown men.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't get some of these other guys to accept being dogged out in the gym.
Right.
You said it so easy, and I know we older. Like, listen, Walter Bond was my first matchup overseas.
Yeah.
And the great Walter Bond from St. John.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know what happened in that game. He was so good.
Yeah.
Clay, I turned, he done spun 3-4 times. I've been in the league.
Yeah.
I'm going against a guy that, man, I guarded Ben Baker, Charles Barkley, Sean Kemp, and all this. Man, Walter did something with these spin moves and being awkward and left-handed.
Yeah.
And we both know he was high as gas.
Yes, sir.
Man, he's still scoring in my dream. Like, if you wake up and he still got a bucket, I was like, man, when we play them again?
Yeah.
Like, goodness gracious, what just happened, dog?
Yeah.
You know, he like, man, I do that to everybody. No, Mark, you ain't
I ain't
talking to
gonna
me
be
like I'm
everybody.
the rest of them. I can't be everybody.
Yeah.
In my head, right? So that's what I'm saying, man. And instead of putting your tail between your legs, man, okay, let me start working on the stuff that's gonna help me get better.
Mm-hmm.
Stop worrying about what all these other people are saying about you, and let's see what you can do when it comes down to competing and then winning the game. Because at the end of the day, if you can get there enough intestinal fortitude to go out there and take your skill set, the Jimmy Butlers of the world,
right?
That I always like to use an example. The people that don't care about nothing but winning the game and doing everything it takes to do that. That's the stuff I can teach about this game or help some other kid with. Because that's at the end of the day, it might be your scoring, it might be your passing, it might be your defense.
Right.
It might be just the fact that you able to take all your frustration out between those lines, like whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I always joke about it, man. We got so much information with internet, Instagram, and all this other stuff, man. Our kids dumber than a mug. They don't know nothing. How you got so much and don't know nothing, man? You don't know nothing.
Yeah.
Because you want to be good at it, you need to start watching the whole story.
Right.
The Steph Curry story is shooting 1,000 makes.
Right.
They only see the half-court jump shot and the stuff he's looking away from the crowd. They never see the work. They never talk about the work. You have to embrace the work that it takes to be that successful, man. And that's kind of what I preach down here as a coach.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I teach to my own kids. And you have to embrace the stuff that don't nobody see.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's where I'm at with that.
That's big time, man. So talk about and we're gonna get you out of here. Where you are now, man, as far as your coaching. What's the high school you coaching at?
Norfolk Collegiate. We right around the corner from Hampton. I mean, not Hampton. We right around the corner from Old Dominion University. This is my 5th year with them. I still work with Nike grassroots all summer, EYBL stuff and Nike elite camps and everything else. And I get a chance to get back to my own crew here. It was something that came up with an opportunity to coach at a private school down here. And man, we were moderately successful at first. And then of course, like I said, when you're able to get the culture in there together, we lost in the state finals this year. And we have a chance to get right back there because we did it the right way. And we preaching some of the stuff you and I have been talking about to all the kids, man. Like, I'm not the greatest coach to play for because I'm verbally abusive. You know, we get verbally abusive over there. And, you know, I didn't take that from Coach Smith. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to just sub you and sit you down and get quiet and put somebody in there just as good as you to do your job. No. I'm going to verbally abuse you all the way to your seat.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to put somebody in that's not as good as you. Then I'm going to verbally abuse you because you made me put him in. And then by the time you sub back in, you're going to know where I stand. And that keeps, and that's kind of what I'm doing down here. I enjoy it. I enjoy the whole process of it now. And it's been a heaven sent for me. I'm going to get an opportunity, if God willing, to coach my son. He's an 8th grader. He's at my school and all this stuff. And he'll get a chance to come up with us. Born in Nashville, by the way. Born down in Nashville at Baptist Hospital.
Roots, baby.
Yeah, his roots here. He got a little bit. He might have the athleticism from the water down there too, because he did it from, you know, my wife from there. My wife is from Nashville, which you know, so all of that's from down there. So, you know, her whole family grew up down there. So that's the reason why we were back down there in the first place. And I'm just hoping that it all comes out to where I'm not living my dream through my kids. I want his dreams to be the ones that he creates for himself. So, and I'm trying to do that for every kid. I got 4 kids now that are going to colleges. One of them are going academically to Cornell.
Yeah.
I got another kid that got academic scholarship to UVA.
Yeah.
He's going to walk on. And the other 2 kids are playing Division II basketball. So we're working our way up to the level that can go out there and get you a bunch of Division I basketball players. But for me, it's just really about those kids getting an opportunity to play in college for free. Yeah. I don't care what it is. I don't care what name of it is for me. You know, it'd be great to get your coach down there, Rick Barnes. It'd be great to get him at our school.
Yeah.
But man, I'll take Stevie Bonds at Tennessee, Chattanooga, and all these other places. Whoever he is, man, we'll take them all here at our school. Yeah. And of course, Penny over at Tennessee State and all these other guys, man. So we, you know, this has been a great thing for me, and I'm blessed to be on. Like I said, just to be around it still.
Man,
you know?
That's what's up, man. I appreciate you, JB, man. I know you're gonna keep on pouring into these kids, and kids, if you playing for them, listen to them, man. I'm telling you, man, it's gonna pay off. You might not see it right away, man, but it's a lot of knowledge right there, man, and continue pouring into them, JB. I know you will. Blessings to you and your family, dog.
Appreciate you.
Get CA on the line, man. Tell Corey Alexander I'm looking for him. I need him in the boom boom room, man.
And listen, you can get him in the boom boom room, man. Listen, he's still up there. He just came from
I saw he be going in and out coaching and doing the analysts and stuff.
He just left Malcolm Wilson 2 days ago. Wow. And I told him that's the best thing you can do is drive out of there on your own recognizance. That's the worst.
Dude, and not be looking on that phone and thinking somebody told you to come back. That's got to be a great feeling, boy.
Man, that's the best. That's the second best feeling. Like I say, graduation and driving off.
Yes.
And man, Miss Smith laughs at me all the time. I was like, listen, the best thing is I drove up here myself. I can leave when I feel like. She laugh about it every time I go back.
Let's go.
Like, man, I'm so excited. Yeah, I can drive off. Y'all you ain't got to say nothing negative to me. I'm going to walk around. I'm going to feel good.
Right.
And I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'm out of here, man.
There it
is.
I appreciate it, man. All love. We're going to link, dude.
Okay. Sounds good, boy.
Bet.
Appreciate you.
No doubt.